What's up, everybody? Welcome to In Love with Horror. My name is AJ,
I'm Christy.
and y'all welcome to a spoiler-free review of The Rule of Jenny Penn. Now, this was a film that got a lot of praise at Fantastic Fest last year, but it is now in theaters currently. I don't know. I don't know if it's limited or a wide release, but hopefully it's playing in your area. Because this film is super dope. But let's talk about what the film is about first. So the film is directed by James Ashcroft. We weren't really familiar with him. Looks like he might have directed one feature-length film a couple years ago, and then directed like a bunch of shorts, and as well as some TV. And then it was written by him and Eli Kent and Owen Marshall. Of course, the film's two main leads is John Lithgow and Jeffrey Rush. Let me tell you something. John Lithgow was having a good-ass time in this movie. But let me read you the IMDb synopsis. It says, confined to a secluded rest home and trapped within his stroke-ridden body, a former judge must stop an elderly psychopath who employs a child's puppet to abuse the home's residents with deadly consequences. Of course, John Lithgow is playing that villainous elderly dude with the hand puppet. If you've seen the trailer, you know this film has a very weird vibe to it. But let's go ahead and talk about The Rule of Jenny Penn. As always, baby, I throw it over to you. Sure. What did you think about this film?
I like this movie, you guys. Oh yeah. Y'all know 2025 horror has been a lot of miss for me, but This is the first time I was walking away from the movie there and I was like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this story. So we did see that it's based off of a short story.
Yep.
So I'm interested in like how they adapted this because, you know, the monkey was adapted from a short story and that to me was not that good. I know people was praising the hell out of it, but whatever. But this to me was good.
Oh, yeah.
For it to be a full-length film and made from a short story, I thought it was really good. But anyways, what I loved about the film is mainly the story, right? So you have this guy who is crazy as fuck in this old
he
folks'
is crazy
home.
as hell.
And
in
this
movie.
Judge who comes in, right? And he's observing what's happening and he wants to help. Basically, right. He wants to help these people, and I think that has to do with the fact that he was a judge, right? Like, I like the way how the film opens too with him as a judge, and you see, you know, how he was, and then to see how he is currently in his current state.
Yep.
Because a lot of things happened to him throughout the film because of this stroke that he had. You know, so he's not fully in control, you know, and he wants so badly to defeat this villainous character.
Yep.
And then obviously the creepy doll baby, like we saw from the daggone trailer, right? Like it's at first it comes off, oh, like this could be funny.
Yeah.
But the way that they like the tone and shit that through this film is not funny, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that takes really good work, you know what I'm saying, to make something like that scary. And not, again, I'm going back to the monkey because I feel like they had a hard time with that, and that's why I feel like they had to lean into the comedy because it's hard to make that, you know, work. But in this case, there ain't no comedy here, really. There might have comedic moments, but this ain't no comedy.
Yes, it's not really like comedy in the sense of like they're trying to be funny.
Right.
A lot of times you're laughing because it's just like
it's
this
crazy.
dude is so fucking crazy that I can't help but laugh because he's just doing such crazy stuff.
And the performances, I absolutely love the performances. I mean, I know how you're talking about Lithgow, but is it Lithgow? That's the villain, right?
Yeah.
So Jeffrey Rush, who plays the judge, I really loved his performance a lot. Because I know sometimes it's easy to be the villain in this character, and I feel like Jeffrey Rush had to put a little bit more, you know, I don't know, power behind his performance because he comes off as like almost high and mighty, but at the same time, he's not. I don't know how to put him.
It's like he's high and mighty, but he also is wants to be just.
Yes, he does. Yeah. I love the way he plays this character.
Yeah.
And then I obviously put yourself in the shoes of someone who would be dealing with that feeling of being old. Like even the other people, right? Like you get glimpses of just how difficult their lives have probably become.
Yeah, and that's a big theme throughout the film is, you know, is getting old, aging, and losing your sense of self a little bit. Yeah, like not being able to do the same things you used to do. And then almost being lost within your old age. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you see a lot throughout the film. These people that almost seem lost. And of course, another big theme is like being forgotten, you know, like, because it takes place in this home, you know, this care home. Yeah. And, you know, there's different, you get a glimpse of some of the, you don't get like in detail who the other members of the residents are, but you get like hints at who they are, especially in some of the dialogue, and then what you see going on, and you can tell that a lot of these people have been forgotten by their families. They've been dropped off and then just forgotten. And so there's a lot of different themes surrounding the elderly and how we treat them as they can't contribute as much as they used to society. Yeah. And I was telling AJ, like, I used to work at a home like this a long time ago. And I actually worked in an Alzheimer's unit. And so like a lot of the moments throughout the movie, I was like, oh, like I remember seeing stuff like this, like, you know, feeding them with having a bib on or giving them baths, or even like they're, you know, people being forgotten. Like I witnessed that happening to people, and it's very sad. So like this movie also had a very emotional tone as well. Very emotional. Yeah. So like that was really well done. Also, I want to say that the director too, like obviously you could tell he did some experimentation with this movie, because there's some moments where like the doll baby's like a giant. Right. Yeah, definitely. It's very like creative weird liberties to really sell like the power that this puppet has. Yeah. By way of John Lithgow's character. But I was not thrown by it. It's funny because like sometimes I feel like some people go too far with it and it doesn't work for me, or I don't like it. But in this case, I think it worked really, really well, because it wasn't like a lot of times, you know, it was only like maybe one or two moments. And I think those moments were really handled really, really well. Yeah. Yeah. For the most part, it's played like super serious at all times, with no real like exaggerated fantasy stuff, except for like you said, like a couple scenes where visually, the director's really trying to say like, hey, like this thing is it's powerful, right? You know what I'm saying? And in a way of the power that they gave it. Yeah, exactly. And then also I think this movie needs a trigger warning, because I don't like to see old people get abused, but there was a lot of old people abuse in this. This film is unique in that way that it's elderly on elderly crime. Yeah. And I don't think I've ever seen something like that. It was hard to watch. Not like this. It was hard to watch. And I'm sure he did that on purpose, right? Yeah, to really make you get the message. Yeah. But it was just crazy. It was crazy. It was nasty. He had a lot of like fluid stuff. You know, I don't really like fluid stuff, but there was a lot in there. Ugh. Yeah, there was a lot of like fluids and like food things. And, you know, just to make the certain scenes feel even nastier. Yeah. But there's just a lot of like great visual choices, a lot of great audio choices. I love the directing style. I love the cinematography. Yeah, I thought the film really looks really good. There's this one scene, and I can tell you more about it later, but there's this one scene where, you know, like he was really good at having like these dichotomy moments, like where things might be really pretty over here, but there's this really ugly part of it right here. And like it'd be just like this wide shot of like this ugliness and then like something really beautiful in the background. Like he did a lot of those, like a lot of like contrasting and stuff like that. But yeah, this film was super dope. Like I knew from the trailer it was gonna have I felt from the trailer it was gonna be good, but it's even better than I thought it could be. I thought it could be. I think there's some great themes, some great messaging. The performances are like incredible. They are insanely good. Even the supporting
cast really good.
Kill it. I won't go into what happens, but Jeffrey Rush's character has a roommate in the film, and he's that supporting act. Man, that dude killed it, and he has some very emotional
really good scenes
that were just like so powerful.
Damn, this shit's sad.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this movie will shock you because you'll feel some super intense suspense moments, but then there'll be moments where you're like, damn, like this is depressing. You know what I'm saying? This is sad to see. And I'm sure any of you that got maybe you have some family members in homes or something like that, this might make you feel some type of way. You might check up on them more often.
It should make
that might be the point.
Honestly,
yeah.
But like I said, I used to work in them, and like it'd be so sad to see like some people that only saw their family member on like a holiday. And that'd be it. The only time they come see them is that on a holiday. Don't see them no other time between that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's sad, but yeah, I feel like that might be the point behind it.
Oh, I agree 100%. But no, this film was
because like the workers, they was worthless in this movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I feel like that's just another point he's trying to make.
Exactly.
That not only have families forgotten them, but even the workers.
Go check on y'all grandma.
Y'all might need to go make a call, might make a trip, whatever you got to do. But this film was super dope. It had like it had the psychological elements. It had the more like just straightforward suspense and terror elements. It was had like the drama in it as well, as far as the pacing of the story, how the story evolves, and how you learn about things. Some things aren't like spoon fed to you. Like they might show you some visual cues, and you just kind of piece it together.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of like exposition of explaining shit, which I love.
I did too.
I love this, and let me be clear. I love it when it's not like so. What's the word? Like it's not the extreme of I'm not gonna try to spoon feed you.
Oh right.
Where it's like it's so abstract. It's like damn, I can't even. I gotta I gotta grasp in the ether. Like it's pitch black, and I'm feeling around trying to figure out connecting balance. The dots. Yeah, this one was like I think the perfect amount of like here's enough. Yeah. You can connect the dots of what has occurred. I love the conclusion of it. I love the resolution. Oh
yes, I'm glad because at one point I thought it was over and I was about to be hot as hell.
Oh right, yeah. It did kind of trick you a little bit because I was like, oh no, is this how we're ending this?
But it does have a good ending.
In some ways, it depends how you look at it. Yeah. But dang, I was gonna say something else. Man. Oh, what do I always like to say with horror films? Like I love when a horror film is contained.
Yes,
this is a fully
it is.
It only takes place. It only takes place at the home, like for 99% of the film.
Yes,
and it works. It has that like trapped, feeling to it. And it's just a great film. It feels original. It feels unique.
It does feel original.
It's not like, and the idea, I don't know, like you said, it comes from a short story. Mm-hmm. I don't know how in depth that short story is, but this feels just like a very simplistic film and sort of like at its surface level.
Yeah.
And then it has like the different layers to it. But it's such an achievement to me to have a film feel surfacely simplistic and then have all these different layers and complexity as you like dive into it. But even beyond that, still just be a dope, just like you could just take somebody to this film who doesn't even like critique films. They'd be like, oh, this is a good movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then for the people that like to like dig in and microscope shit, you know what I'm saying? Magnifying glass it and fucking write the thesis on shit. Like this also is that movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's just an achievement to the writing and the performances and the director, of course.
Yeah.
But highly recommend y'all check out The Rule of Jenny Penn. I think this is one of those ones you should go to the theater and support because a lot of good audio sounds too, especially when like shit's going down and you got the like those rumblings and the brr, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. It sounds really good in the theater. You got to support this one.
Yep.
Because we want to see more
indie horror is pushing boundaries.
And this is a Shudder one.
Good. Yes.
You know, Shudder sometimes hit or miss. I was like, dang, Shudder got behind a good one with this one.
Yeah, they definitely did.
But hey, look, so we got to get into the rating portion of our review. Of course, over here at In Love with Horror, we do our ratings out of 5. So, baby, what would you give The Rule of Jenny Pin out of 5?
4.
4
stars.
I'm going 4.5.
Okay.
I actually think this is a damn good movie.
Yeah.
This movie's good as hell.
Well, you know, my 5 stars are hard to give out, but
I didn't give it 5.
I know, but that was very close to 5.
Yeah, hell yeah.
4 is good to me.
Hell yeah. I think it gets close. I think when a film is good, I gotta say that it's good. And I think this is one of the good ones. There's not too much I dislike about this film. I was trying to search, not intentionally, but I was trying to think of anything I didn't like. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I could say is like there was one tiny moment in the middle where the pacing kind of slowed down a little bit.
Because I actually was like, ooh.
Yeah, but
trying to get a little.
That was like the only moment.
Only for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was only for like a slight moment, and then it picked back up.
Yeah,
I think that middle area could have been edited a little differently, and the film still been effective.
I personally could have used a little bit less abuse.
I think that having it though adds to the visceralness to get you to pay attention.
I get all that, but there was one
and let you look. This is why you need to check on your grandma
in particular. I was like, they didn't need to do that.
Okay, well I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and they took that and went a little far. But also to be real though, it could have been way worse.
Well, I'm saying though, but even still, like, well, he didn't have to do that to do what he did.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
But yes.
That. Yeah,
I see.
But I bet you won't forget that scene though. So it did his job.
Whatever.
It did his job.
Like
yeah. But obviously you can see 4.5 between the two of us. Like you can tell we love this film, and I'm telling y'all, go check out The Rule of Jenny Pin. And honestly, I didn't even know about this film until like a month and a half ago when we did our March releases. It's in February we did our upcoming March releases, and it was at that moment when you might have known about it before me, but I didn't. And I was like, what is this Rule of Jenny Pin? And I was like, damn, what is this? And so I feel like this might be one that's undermarketed. Highly recommend you go check it out. I
absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely not being talked about enough.
Yeah, 100% agree. But yeah, y'all, that's our spoiler-free review. Go check out the film. Go check out our other reviews as well. If you want, you can also go watch or listen to our BlurredCon review where we talk about our experience at BlurredCon, our panel that we did, and all the dope stuff from BlurredCon. Check out that video and podcast as well. And we will do a spoiler review. So one thing that we haven't done a lot lately is like spoiler discussions on films. And I know people really want to hear what we think about kind of the crazy shit that happens in films. And this obviously got a lot of stuff in it. So we are going to do a spoiler review for this as well. So whether you're watching it on YouTube, listening on the podcast platforms, go look for that spoiler review video or podcast as well. Thank y'all so much for tuning into this one. We appreciate y'all's support. We love y'all. And we gonna see you in the next one. We out. Peace.